Alright, this is our third day of solving by elimination. Most of our topics in this class we've spent 3 days on. The first day is intro, the second day is kind of extending the topic and fine-tuning some things. The third day is when we try to put it all together and figure it out. So this is a day we're going to try and nail everything down. I am going to have you solve this equation or this system first. Solve it by elimination and do it like on a scratch sheet of paper or pause the video and do it on your iPad, I don't care what. Piece of advice, like to erase those numbers when they're in the way. So right now, pause the video, solve, then when you're done, play the video. Okay, when I solve this top equation is going to get multiplied by this number, just the 5, not the 5x. The bottom equation gets multiplied by this number, the 4. But I need one of those to be negative, so I make it negative 4. That multiplication gives me 20x minus 10y equals 100, and negative 20x minus 12y equals negative 144. I add these up and I get negative 22y equals negative negative 24 divided by negative 22, and we get that y equals 2. This is a 44, not a 24. Pardon my mistake. Okay, if y equals 2, I'm going to take that and plug it into one of these equations. I pick the top one because its numbers are smaller. So if the y value is 2, that becomes 4x minus 4 equals 20. Add a 4 to both sides, and 4x equals 24. Divide both sides by 4, and x equals 6. So my solution is the point 6, 2. I'm going to check that really quick. I'm going to plug a 6 in for this x and a 2 in for this y. 5 times 6 is 30. 3 times 2 is 6. 30 plus 6 is 36. So that's a quick check to make sure it works. A check like that wouldn't be sufficient on homework, but it's sufficient for now when I'm just doing some work. Okay, so there's number 1. If you made a mistake anywhere with some negatives, it's not going to go very well. If you added when you should have subtracted, you're going to have mistakes. You need to be checking and going back and finding your mistakes. The best way to do that is to just not make mistakes. And I know that advice isn't very helpful when I say just don't make mistakes, but, you know, it's still true. Okay, next one. I want you to solve this on your own without me, and then once you've solved it, come check my solution. Because of this negative 1 here, this is actually pretty simple to make work. I can just multiply this equation here by 2. It's like I'm multiplying the top equation by 1, because multiplying by 1 doesn't do anything. So I'm going to have 2x minus 3y equals 11, and negative 2x plus 8y equals negative 16. When I add these up, I'm going to get 5y equals negative 5, which clearly means that y equals negative 1. If y equals negative 1, plug it into one of the equations. And solve it without talking at all, apparently. So x, y is in the set for negative 1. I'll check in the other equation. If I plug in 4 for x and plug in negative 1 for y, I get negative 4 minus 4, which is negative 8. Okay, last one. Again, pause, do it on your own, then check in. I'll do this times 6. Actually, I'll make this negative 6. I like to make the bottom one negative. Do the top one times 2. You might have noticed I could have just done this by 3, and that would have worked. Negative 3, technically. I could have just multiplied the bottom equation by 3, but this process I've shown you of switching those coefficients always works. Let's just keep following it. So that becomes 12x minus 6y equals 24. Negative 12x plus 6y equals negative 48. Add these up and you get 0 equals negative 24, and that is no solutions. Bang, we did it, we're done. Let's go knock this out. You have a quiz next class, it'll be short, 1 period. See you then.